Welcome to Psychic Bent. My name is Carrie.
And I'm Kim. We are two sisters wanting to help other psychics learn and grow in their abilities and to help educate about spirits, angels, and everything psychic.
All right, welcome back, listeners. And on this episode, we're going to talk about meditation. One thing that's kind of funny about Kim and I is because we kind of are linked in the head a little bit too much, when we do research on something and then we compare each other's notes. And we have identical information. It's been on every single episode we do. It's kind of funny. And, we have different tasks that we're in charge of. When we do the podcast, obviously, Kim is our tech person and does all the editing and puts everything together. Evidently, my job is to go through the notes and kind of, okay, you do this, I'll do that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Well, yesterday was a hectic day. My father and I got on a little trip, got home, and I was working on stuff and doing the podcast. Kim's at her house working on the podcast and stuff. And I just sent her a text message that you edit it. You figure out who does what this time, because I was tired. Yeah. Had a good time, but I was tired. So we're doing it a little different this time. And Kim did a great job on breaking it up. But it gets kind of monotonous because we say the same things.
We do.
It's always the same things.
Oh, it's crazy.
And we use different resources.
Right. It's always different.
So it's not like we're both using the same resource.
Right. It's bizarre. Yeah, but I guess it's the message.
We always pick out.
Yeah. But I'm assuming it's
what
because
we're supposed to say.
Exactly. These are the messages we're supposed to be giving. So
Right. But it's kind of funny. I texted her and I said, hey, you want to do this for the episode? And she goes, before I look at it, did we do the same thing again? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, we did. So
got you covered.
Yes. So Kim, why don't you talk to us about meditation?
Okay, I'd be happy to. All right, meditation has been practiced by cultures and communities around the world for thousands of years as a way to understand life. While many spiritual traditions include meditation as a part of their teachings and practices, the technique itself doesn't belong to any particular religion or faith. Though ancient in origin, it's still practiced today in cultures all over the world to create a sense of peace, calm, and inner harmony. It is also a tool used to sharpen focus, reduce stress, and even improve physical health. So meditation is a technique used to develop awareness of the present moment. It can involve practices to sharpen focus and attention, connect to the body and breath, and develop acceptance of difficult emotions, and even alter consciousness. It's been shown to offer a number of physical and psychological benefits like stress reduction and improved immunity. Meditation may offer a solution to the growing need to reduce stress in the midst of a busy schedule and demanding lives. Although there isn't a right or wrong way to meditate, it's important to find a practice that meets your needs. There are several types of meditation. Learn more about which one is right for you.
When you're going over that, what popped into my head, which is weird, it just popped into my head is some religious practices think meditation is bad.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
that, but I just floors me. But that did pop into my head, so I felt like I had to say something because Spirit was like, okay. Some religions think that meditation is bad work. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Because, you just read off all these wonderful benefits. Right. You just told us about all these wonderful things that meditation does. And I know my attitude is different when I meditate. It's good. It's better than you come home from work. I go immediately into meditate. And when I don't have time to do that, I can feel a difference in myself. So there may be some people that aren't meditating because of a belief that was ingrained in them through a particular dogma. So if that's you,
and it's the word,
Spirit says hello. Yeah. It's the word. Yeah. So be open-minded about meditation because you're calming yourself down and you're giving a moment of peace. And I really find it difficult. Like, well, what's the difference between prayer and meditation?
Well, true. And what's the difference between meditation and mommy time or alone time, or I need to go have just a moment
Yes.
to myself to unwind? What's the difference?
Right. I mean, so if this message is for you, for someone out there, because obviously it wasn't part of what we were, we researched and talked about, but it did come into my mind that needed to be said, that meditation is what you make of it.
Mm-hmm. Good one.
So if you're taking time to do some calming of yourself, to release things, you're taking care, your self-care.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting yourself, whether you want to connect to spirit, whether you're just going to be quiet for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever your time allows for you to be able to meditate on this particular moment. It's about you and all about you and what your body needs and what your mind needs or what your spiritual needs are.
Right.
It's a way to connect to your higher self and it connect to God, universe, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's got a different name for it, light source, whatever is resonating with you, but it's never a bad thing. So if there is a negative connotation, it can't be.
Something that feels that good?
No.
Mm-mm.
But that also is liberating for yourself. And I just don't understand why some religions think it's a bad thing. A lot of religions embrace meditation. It's very common in the practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've spoke about before in Hinduism and Buddhism. And it's a very calming and peaceful thing to do. And you don't see very many angry Buddhists running around. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very calming and a very good practice. So that was something I needed to share. And so there we have it. So let me get back into talking about meditation. Now, I'm going to kind of go over mindfulness versus meditation, what the difference is there. Mindfulness and meditation are terms that are often used interchangeably, but they're not exactly the same. Still, both practices can be intertwined, and we try to become more grounded and self-aware in our lives as we do both. Mindfulness is the mental state in which you focus your awareness on the present. Meditation is a tool we can use to develop a regular practice of mindfulness. Okay, so what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is being present in the moment without judgment. That means you're not dwelling on a problem at work, or you're not projecting into the future about a family vacation that you still need to buy plane tickets for. When you're mindful, you can acknowledge your emotions, but you're not being critical or stressing yourself out. Being mindful also means paying attention to your breathing and the sensations in your body. You're totally living in the now moment.
Okay.
Meditation is a tool or practice employed to cultivate mindfulness. Meditation is an intentional practice that calms you down, helps you concentrate on being aware, and helps you achieve emotional balance. It often begins with a dedicated focus on deep breathing. Deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, which regulates digestion, heart rate, as well as respiratory rate. Now, there's different types of meditation. I almost said medication.
Flashback to previous episode.
Meditation.
Yeah.
Yes, I had an implant moment.
Yes, you did.
So there's different types of meditation. You are not limited to one way of meditating. You can choose from a variety of meditations. If you're seeking to begin a practice, I've got a list of popular types of meditation. Breathe awareness meditation. This involves your focus on different breathing techniques. Loving kindness meditation. This involves your focus on yourself and loved ones while thinking kind and caring thoughts. There's a mantra-based meditation. This involves chanting a word or phrase aloud, or it can be done in your mind. Visualization meditation. This involves using mental imagery for relaxation and to calm your mind. Movement meditation involves focusing on body parts and movement as you take a walk. Body scan meditation involves scanning your body and noticing physical sensations. And focus meditation, this involves focusing attention on a specific object, sound, or your breathing. How to be mindful without meditating? You don't have to sit in a lotus position or practice any of the various forms of meditation we mentioned in order to be mindful. If you have no interest in meditating, there are other ways to embrace mindfulness. Deepak Chopra, which we've talked about him before, says when you are consciously bringing your wandering mind back to the present moment, you are developing mindfulness. To practice mindfulness, start by noticing your everyday life through your senses. Savor the dark, delicious chocolate as you eat it slowly, or listen to birds as you walk to the car, or look at the sunset and appreciate it. Take the time to just enjoy it. Feel how happy you are after hugging your partner. So these are ways to kind of work those senses.
Okay. Those are pretty simple to do.
I mean, how often do you get just so busy in your day that you don't stop to listen to the birds? Or, you're not enjoying a moment after you're hugging a loved one and you're not taking the time to enjoy how that felt.
Just enjoy it. You're right. Exactly.
Just enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I enjoy a good sunrise and a good sunset, but how often do you take the time to do it?
Right.
And just watch it. You're quiet. You got your phone out. You're taking pictures. You're not really enjoying it.
Yeah.
So.
Good point.
So, just go out there and just enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you're doing at work or at home, set your intention to doing one thing at a time. Engage fully in whatever activity it is without distractions or interruptions. So if you're working on an important report for work, don't check your social media and then make a phone call about something rather different. Engage fully in one activity as it's happening. That's being mindful. How often are we doing this? You're working on, I was working on the podcast last night. I got on Facebook, with my phone. Yeah. I got the laptop with the podcast. I went and then I texted you. And so was I being mindful? No. And I was researching mindfulness. But I wasn't being mindful, And it had to be like, oh, wait a minute. I need to just do this. And that's an easy thing to practice.
Yes.
But if you're fully engaged, you're going to get more out of it anyway. Another way you can practice mindfulness is through mindful eating. So at night, you might be watching a movie on Netflix while you're eating dinner, where you're not paying attention to your food or taking time to enjoy it. Mindful eating requires you to slow down, pay attention to your food's textures and flavors, then check in to see if you're full. With mindful eating, we are aligned with the experience of eating and enjoying a good meal. So we're not going to overeat, because you're enjoying the meal. It's like when you go to an expensive restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Doesn't the food taste better? Because you're not distracted. Well, most people aren't on their cell phone at an expensive restaurant or a nice restaurant. But, I've seen, Dad and I were eating dinner the night before last while we were on our trip. And a couple next to us, one minute they're holding hands, blah, blah, and the next minute they both have their phone out. Just like, well, what happened? It's like,
they had to share the moment with everybody else.
I thought, oh, this is so... They're a nice romantic, dinner, and, holding hands across the table, both hands. I mean, they were both hands holding, but, oh, wow, this is a romantic moment, and then I look back and I got their cell phones out. So that's not being mindful eating.
No, that's not.
But my point is, when you go to a nice restaurant, don't you savor the food?
I do, yeah.
You're taking a bite. Oh, this tastes delicious. You don't just dive in and try to eat as quickly as you can and be done fast. You savor it. So mindful eating, I think we're all guilty. Not all. I'm speaking for myself. I am guilty of not mindful eating.
I am too.
Taking the time to just savor the food.
Yep.
If you got a TV on in the background, shut it off for dinner.
Yep.
Mindful eating. That's a very good practice. It's going to be better for your digestion. And like I said, you're less likely to overeat because you're enjoying the experience and you're full.
Right. Good point.
But how many times do you snack eat while watching TV and you're really not hungry. I did that with popcorn last night. I just wanted popcorn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Watching a movie, I'm going to give me some popcorn. And I probably ate all of the popcorn. Yeah, I did eat all the popcorn. But I didn't need to. I wasn't hungry. It was popcorn and I wanted the popcorn. That wasn't mindful eating. And if I did not do that while I'm watching the movie, I could happily lose some weight a little bit easier than what I'm doing now. So other ways to bring mindfulness into your daily life, because we do live we're in a fast-paced world. It might seem difficult to incorporate mindfulness in your everyday life. So try just simple actions to ease your way into becoming mindful. Slow down. Use your senses and your surroundings. Accept yourself without criticism or judgment. I'm going to say that again. Accept yourself, Kim.
Yes.
Without criticism or judgment.
Yes.
And focus on your breathing.
Yes.
Those 4 things are very simple ways to becoming more mindful. If meditation's not your thing, this is good for you. Mindfulness is good for you then. It might be easier for you to do. And then ease into the meditation. You can practice mindfulness in your relationships. When someone you love talks to you, use these tips. And I think that these are really good tips for any relationship. Practice active listening.
Right. Hear what they're saying.
How many times? Yes, active listening. Not just, I think this is what you said, moving on, or I'm watching TV, so I'm just partially listening. I think that any relationship, whether it's with a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, children, coworkers, practice active listening. It's very important. And as a psychic and an empath, you're going to get a lot more hits with active listening.
Mm-hmm.
It could really help develop your abilities.
Right.
Don't rush to judgment. And I think if you're not active listening, you are rushing to judgment on most things.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've already decided what you think they're saying, and you've already judged it.
Yep.
And it's not your place to judge it. So don't rush to judgment on anything. Use empathy. And don't multitask while other people are talking to you. Well, we all do it. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of disrespectful.
It is.
If you think about it, it's kind of disrespectful.
It is.
In the technology world we're living in, it's almost become a way of life.
It has.
I'm going to quickly judge you. I'm not going to listen all the way because I've got this over here, and I'm talking to someone on Facebook too. I want to watch this movie, and I'm reading this book. Whatever.
Right.
But you've got someone there that needs to talk to you about something, or they want to share something, and obviously it's important to them.
Right.
Because they want to share it.
They want to share it. Yeah, exactly.
So, right. So it's important to follow those steps. And that was an aha moment when I read that. I was like, oh, wow. That is, to me, it was powerful,
mm-hmm.
but
simple.
But very simple. And how often do we do it? And just think about how much better your relationship will be with people.
Yeah. Because you're actually listening.
If you just follow those. Yeah. And not rushing to judge and having empathy.
Yeah.
Because if they're sharing it with you, it's obviously important.
Right.
It may not seem important to you, but it's important to them, and you should respect that.
Right.
But that's not what this podcast is about.
No.
So we'll get back to the topic at hand. Now we're going to, I'm sorry. So also, if this is something new and different for you, be kind to yourself. Like anything new, it's going to take time to try, and be patient with yourself. So you may catch yourself going, oh my gosh, I wasn't active listening. I failed. No, you didn't fail. You're learning new techniques. Oh my gosh, I'm holding my breath.
You went into my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, like
you went into my mind there with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know, because you were thinking it loudly. But just be kind on yourself. It's like with anything. If you mess up, yeah, you know what? The world did not end. It's okay.
Yeah.
You'll try again. Try it again. Okay. So basic meditation techniques, though it can be practiced in different ways, a few common threads run through virtually all meditation techniques. Focused mind. It is a common misconception that meditation causes the mind to become quiet or clear. In reality, your mind is always thinking. It's always going to think.
Always.
Although your thoughts might not be as rapid, it is perfectly normal for your mind to be active when meditating. The key is to acknowledge this compassionately while bringing the focus back to breathing whenever possible. So something pops in your head. I need milk from the grocery store. Okay, I acknowledge that. And I'm going to let it go. Breathe in, breathe out, get back into the focus of your meditation. The goal of meditation is to compassionately acknowledge your thoughts while you're gently guiding your mind back to your breathing. I think a lot of people, that's the first thing they tell me is why they can't meditate is because they can't quiet their mind. And that's such a huge misconception about meditating.
Right, because
now the more you
because you need your mind
go ahead
to guide you back to what you're meditating on, or to remind yourself to breathe slowly. That's how your mind is always constantly working.
Yes, and if you're doing visualization meditation, your mind's involved.
Yeah, so right. Yeah,
so it's part of the process. So, you're not going to stop your mind from working, obviously, but it's okay. Something pops into your head. Maybe it popped in for a reason. Acknowledge it. Okay, yeah, I acknowledge that thought. Okay, thank you. Breathe in, breathe out, and just get back to the routine of what you were doing. Being in the now, rather than focusing on the past or future, as meditative practices involve focusing on the present. Being in the here and now consists of experiencing each moment, letting it go, and then experiencing the next. Focusing on the here and now takes practice, as many of our lives are very busy thinking about future activities or thinking about the past. Mm-hmm. So you want to be mindful to be in the now. Altered state of consciousness. With time, maintaining a quiet mind and focusing on the present can lead to an altered level of consciousness that isn't a sleep state, but it isn't quite your average wakeful state either. Meditation increases brain activity in an area of the brain associated with happiness, positive thoughts, and emotions. And some evidence does show that regular practice of meditation brings prolonged positive changes in these areas. Two main types of meditation techniques. We have the concentrative techniques, involve focusing on a particular object that's generally outside of oneself, like a candle flame, the sound of an instrument, or a mantra. The non-concentrative meditation, on the other hand, can include a broader focus, such as the sounds of your environment, internal body states, or even your own breathing. Note that they can overlap with these techniques. Meditation can be both concentrative and non-concentrative.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so you can, and the more you meditate, the more that you just might slip into one or the other, depending on what you feel you need.
And it's not right or wrong.
Right. It's what works for you.
Right, okay.
So we have meditation techniques that you can try. There are many different ways to meditate. Think of the following categories of meditation techniques as a jumping off point to understand the practices and the differences among some of the main options rather than an exhaustive list. And I think that gets, if you go to we both have meditation apps on our phone or iPads or whatnot, and sometimes I'll catch myself scrolling, looking at the different guided meditations. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I don't know. Do I want to do this 15-minute one? Do I want to do this 30-minute one? Do I want to, and it can get a little overwhelming if you don't know exactly what you want. Yeah. So we're just going over these basic types of meditation, and maybe it's not so confusing. I don't know. There's the basic meditation. This involves sitting in a comfortable position and using the the breathing as a point of focus. So you just concentrate on your breathing. That's all you're doing. If you find yourself distracted by other thoughts or find your mind wandering, gently just acknowledge it, redirect it back to your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. That's just basic meditation. Focus meditation is you focus on something with intention without engaging your thoughts on it. You can zero in on something visual like a statue, something auditory like a metronome. I don't know why I can't say that, metronome. Or recording of ocean waves, something constant. It can either be like your own breathing or a simple concept like unconditional compassion. So that's a focused meditation where you're just focusing on something. Some people find it easier to do this rather than not having anything to focus on. But the idea is the same, staying in the present moment, circumventing the constant stream of commentary from your conscious mind, and allowing yourself to slip into an altered state of consciousness.
A body scan is one popular type of focus meditation. It's especially good for managing pain and discomfort. It involves visualizing each part of your body and scanning from top to bottom. Another type of focus meditation is called reflective meditation. Like a body scan, you can go into meditation to develop discipline in your thinking. Pick a question or topic to focus your attention on and let your thoughts explore that topic. When your mind wanders, return it to the topic. Another one I found was a guided meditation. You don't have to do it alone. Instructional apps, videos, and tracks can help lead you through guided meditations. They give you instructions on the meditation style of your choice, and many websites have free instructional programs to get you started. That is something that you had also talked about. So I just want to throw that in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But I mean, if you're learning meditation, the guided ones are really helpful because you're focusing your mind. It's like the focused meditation. Mm-hmm. You're focusing your mind on something to try to keep it right. You're less likely to have thoughts pop in if you're doing a guided meditation. So activity-oriented meditation is where you're combining meditation with activities you may already enjoy or new activities that you want to practice on. With this type of meditation, you engage in a repetitive activity where you can get in the zone and experience the flow. Again, this quiets the mind and allows your brain to shift. So, I mean, to me, one way of active would be working in the garden.
Oh, sure.
You're doing an activity and you're meditating at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And this practice is diverse and good for beginners. It can be a challenge to sit still for several minutes. Activity meditation can serve as an introduction to meditation. Movement meditation comes in several forms and can work with almost any physical activity. Some of the more common practices are like Tai Chi and yoga, walking meditations. Qigong is also something that you can do. Movement meditation focuses on your posture, the movement of your body, the interaction of your body and the ground, and your breathing. This can be done through a formal practice such as yoga or through everyday activities, like you said, as gardening, cooking, and even folding clothes. Or mowing the lawn. I like doing it while mowing the lawn.
I'm concentrating on cooking. We don't want to do it then. And then we're back to mindfulness meditation like we talked about earlier. Mindfulness can be a form of meditation that, like activity-oriented meditation, doesn't really look like meditation. Mindfulness involves staying in the present moment rather than thinking about the past or future. While the concept is simple, it can be more difficult than it sounds. Focusing on sensations you feel in your body is one way to stay in the now. Focusing on emotions or where you feel them in your body. Now examining how you feel them, but just experiencing from them as a sensation is another.
So this type of popular meditation is based on Buddhist teachings. The mindfulness meditation. It opens you up so you experience your thoughts and emotions honestly and without judgment. Now, here are some practices for mindfulness meditation. Sitting comfortably on the floor with your back straight, close your eyes or unfocus your gaze. Breathe naturally with your full diaphragm. Note each breath by counting or by thinking in and out. It helps you manage negative emotions and pay more attention to the positive emotions. Mindful meditation is often recommended for symptoms of depression and anxiety. That is something that I do practice regularly whenever I'm having one of my anxiety attacks or panic attacks. This mindful meditation works wonders for that.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so there's also spiritual meditation. And though meditation isn't specific to any religion, it can be a spiritual practice. You can meditate on a singular question until an answer comes, or meditate to clear your mind and accept whatever comes that day. Many people also practice Kundalini meditation for mind and body connection. Now, in Hinduism, the Kundalini is a form of feminine energy that is said to be coiled at the base of the spine. The word Kundalini comes from Sanskrit word meaning coiled snake. This energy can be awakened through yoga, mantras, asanas, and meditation. Kundalini meditation is part of Kundalini yoga and is meant to move energy through the body. It is based on the concept that energy at the base of the spine, also known as the root chakra, needs to be released through the 7 chakras of the body and then out through the crown above the head. Now, Kundalini, I wanted to go into detail on that one because a lot of people get confused on what that is. And so I just wanted to throw that in there, what Kundalini is.
No, I think that's great because I did not know what that was.
Yes. So this process of releasing energy from your body has the purpose of creating a system of communication between your mind and body to relieve mental, physical, and spiritual issues. This system is bringing awareness to your body by connecting with your breath, is intended to facilitate being present, establishing a new rhythm, and communication with a higher version of yourself.
That is so interesting. There's also a heart-centered meditation. Similar to loving kindness meditation, this practice focuses on emotions rather than the mind. You can take a few approaches when practicing a heart-centered meditation. Bring your awareness to your heart. As with focus or mindfulness meditation, center your focus in your chest. Feel your chest as the center of the emotion where all your feelings and energy are generated. Focus on the love and care your heart holds. Feel the love you have for someone close to you. Slowly increase the expanse of your love to others in your life, your communities, yourself, and the world. Release negative feelings and fill your heart with love. It takes time for your heart to heal when it hurts. Focus your meditation on releasing sadness, fear, and grief from your heart and replacing them with compassion and love. This will help you open your heart to others.
This would also help with your heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that.
It's all tied together.
All tied together. Mm-hmm. Now, benefits of using the meditation techniques. Meditation has been shown to have a wide variety of mental and physical health benefits. Using meditation techniques regularly may help boost your mood, improve sleep, lower stress, decrease blood pressure, improve your empathy, and reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression, as well as help psychically.
There were some other things that I found while doing my research, that meditation can help your emotional well-being by improving imagination, creativity, patience, tolerance, and self-awareness, managing your negative feelings, developing tools for managing your stress, and the physical benefits. Meditation can help with symptoms of, added to your list above, asthma, cancer, depression, irritable bowel syndrome, and insomnia. Those are things that it can help. Yeah.
How does it help with cancer?
It's to help you with the symptoms, help control the symptoms.
Oh,
okay. Like with the pain or the nausea or whatever you may be experiencing with the cancer. The meditation can help you try to control those.
So symptoms, not actually help with cancer.
No, help control the symptoms.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. The most effective meditation technique is the one that you can stick with for long term. Researchers have found a few specific types of meditation may be particularly helpful. For example, the mindful meditation that we talked about has been shown to help with depression and anxiety. So how to get started. If you're ready to begin trying out some meditation techniques, here are some helpful tips to get started. Set aside a time. Choose when you want to meditate each day. You might set aside a little time first thing in the morning, lunchtime, after work, or in the evening. Any of this works. Find a space. Choose a relaxing space where you're free of distractions. Your bedroom is a great option, but you can truly meditate anywhere. That includes in your living room, your office, any place that you can tune out distractions. A pair of headphones and some soothing meditation music might help. Get comfortable. You can sit cross-legged on the floor if you want, but the key is to find a position that's comfortable for you. If sitting on the floor isn't comfortable or possible, sit in a chair where you can sit up straight, both feet resting flat on the floor. Place your hands where they're comfortable, such as in your lap, on your knee, or by your sides. Focus on your breath. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Breathe comfortably and notice how you feel as you inhale and exhale. If your mind wanders, gently just guide it back to focus on your breathing.
In the getting comfortable, could you also lay down, like to...
You can, but you might fall asleep.
Well, that's true.
But you can. I mean, if that's what's comfortable for you, and if that's a way to help with your mindfulness and getting into a meditation mode, sure, you can lay down. Just a lot of people fall asleep when they do that.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So if you're just starting the practice, you may not want to do it.
Right.
If you're just starting to meditate, you may not want to lay down. I've meditated standing up, sitting in a chair. I'm not going to get on the floor because my cat would then pester me, wanting loves and hugs. And he does that sometimes when I'm meditating. I'll get on, he'll grab my leg, like him right here. But it's kind of what you're comfortable doing.
Yeah. Well, I have done that standing up as well, especially during an anxiety attack, just closing my eyes and focus on the breathing. We're not going to talk where, but, I can see standing.
Oh.
Yeah. So it can be done anytime, anywhere.
It can be done anytime, anywhere. And the basic thing is you pick one that you're going to stick with.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going into the bathroom and closing the door and sitting on the stool, so that's the only place in your house you can have privacy, do that.
Right.
I like to put the headphones in if there's people in the house and I'm going to go in my room and close the door and meditate. I'm going to put headphones in. That way it's easier to have no distractions.
Right.
And I listen to different kinds of music. I've been known to meditate on my acupressure mat. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to lay on it for 20 minutes anyway.
Oh yeah.
And so and if I need to focus on something, it's the mat. Because the sensations that are going with that, I can focus on that. Mm-hmm. And that helps. I'll play music, meditative music, when I'm doing it. And it's really funny, because you talked about in the chakra episodes, and in this episode, I believe you brought up yoga, right? Mm-hmm. Well, yoga is intimidating to people who've never done it because these people are very limber and you don't know the moves and everything. But, there's a thing called armchair yoga where you could sit in a chair and it's really big because, like, if you have an injury, you can't do the yoga poses.
That's true.
Or if you've never done yoga, you're not limber enough to try to do these poses. Or if you have bad balance, you're not going to, you shouldn't try to do yoga at first. But there's YouTube chair yoga, armchair yoga.
Oh, interesting.
And there's all these, and it's really good for beginners, and it's really good for elderly people with their mobility, because they're sitting down in a chair and they're doing these moves. And it's nothing that's going to cause them, or should not cause them, to tumble out of the chair or to hurt anything. It's just stretches. So it's another type of meditation you could do, is the armchair yoga.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you can YouTube it. I downloaded an app on my iPad on Thursday night. Haven't opened it yet because I was on a trip with Dad. So I'm going to start to try to do this. But I came across it, and of course, the random things that Facebook thinks you need to know, and that was one of them. And it showed it to me more than once. I thought, okay, well, I'll check into it. And so I did a little research on it. And, that could be a type of meditation, I believe, too. Because, they did say yoga.
Yeah.
Like you had said, yoga. But if you don't know how to do yoga, well, that's kind of intimidating.
It's very intimidating.
To me.
Yes.
And you have to go get the yoga mat, and then you show up for class, and all these people are like really limber, and you're like, oh, I can't even do that.
Yeah. Because I don't think it's...
So it's a type... Yeah, so it's a type of yoga that I think might appeal to more people.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it at home, obviously. If, you don't have to buy anything, have a chair, preferably a chair with a back to it. If you have a chair with no arms, it's even better. But if you're of balance issues, you may want to have those arms on your chair.
Right.
Just as a little support, so there's nothing wrong with that. But it's, so I'd recommend trying that kind of meditation too. If you're struggling with different types of meditation, this would also help. You're concentrating on your moves and your breathing, so I think it'll be easier to keep random thoughts from popping in.
Yeah.
So that's just my input there.
That's my primary problem with mindfulness and meditation, is the random thoughts that pop into my head.
Yes.
That have nothing to do with meditating or being mindful. Those little, oh, did I shut the door? Oh, did I lock the door?
Yeah.
Kind of stuff.
Or what all you need to do. And I think with the mindfulness, being in the moment will help you too with that meditation practice of just acknowledging it and letting it go. You're never, the more you meditate, the easier it gets. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that's going to stop having something pop into your head. Mm-hmm. That it could be for certain, Spirit delivers messages that way as well. I'll get a random picture show up, like, well, okay, I acknowledge that picture and I'll think about it later.
See, I think that's something I personally don't know. Okay, am I getting this message as something that Spirit's telling me to do or have or say or focus on, or is this just my mind going, you need to do this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you could ask yourself, when you're meditating and this popped into your head, is this from you, Spirit? And listen for the answer.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because I don't know about you, but Spirit answers my questions before I finish. It's like okay. So I'll get the answer, and then I'll finish the question and wait, and it's almost like, I already told you. I'm answering it again. I already gave you the answer. So it doesn't answer twice, but that's how it works for me. I don't know if that works for you that way when you communicate with Spirit, but that's what happens. So it's a real easy, quick, okay, is this a message from you, Spirit? And if you get yes, okay, acknowledge it. Thank you. If you have another question concerning it, ask it. Because, part of meditation is communicating with Spirit.
Right.
If you get a no, then okay, I acknowledge the thought. Thank you. Goodbye. Breathe in, breathe out. And get back to your breathing.
Right.
So you could ask, and if it's something that is a message, okay, so you have another question to go with that. Ask it.
Right.
Because you're linked in. Spirit's talking to you. So you want to take advantage of that. But yeah, just ask.
Good point.
Does that have anything to do? Is this from you, Spirit? Okay, not. Then. And it's kind of funny. They always joke about the swipe to the right or whatever for dating apps.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
You swipe if you like something. I kind of mentally go swipe. Like with my swipe, get that thought out of there. Swipe. Then go back to breathing. That's just
That's
me. That's how I do
That's a great visual there. I like that.
Yeah, swipe. But to me, it's a way of acknowledging it. I'm not being mean. I'm not being mean to myself for it. I'm not getting on to myself for having those thoughts pop in. It's just a real quick, okay, swipe, move on. So it's kind of a way of being positive, I guess.
Yeah.
About it, not getting worked up.
Good advice there.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of meditation, and maybe meditation and mindfulness isn't so scary to try now. So hopefully there were some great takeaway points.
I think there was a lot of great takeaway points. I know I took points away from it. That's for sure. Or got points from it. So
yeah, I just think the main thing with anything that you do with your spiritual journey is be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you're gonna mess up. That's okay.
Yeah, you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, it's all good.
So
nope,
that's true.
So, all right. Well, thank you for listening. And our next episode, would you like to tell them, Kim, what that's about? I'm all excited.
Sure.
All excited.
Sure. Contain yourself.
I can't.
I know. So our next episode is going to be the metaphysical stones and crystals, which is Carrie's baby.
Yay.
It's her thing.
It's my thing.
And yeah, we're going to try not to have the same information. So
we will. We will have the same information.
I'm sure we will.
We will.
Yeah, it just happens.
Yes.
So anyway, we hope that you guys join us next time whenever we will be discussing the medical, physical stones and crystals involved in your spiritual journey.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye. May your light shine bright.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Psychic Bent. If you enjoyed Psychic Bent, please like, follow, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to Psychic Bent. We can be reached on Facebook at Psychic Bent Podcast. Our email address is psychicbent1@gmail.com. May your light shine bright.